안녕하세요, Seppi예요. At the end of the last video, we observed how Korean alphabets actually align in order to form a word. Before forming an entire word, they must form a smaller unit called syllable. Okay, but it doesn't sound that weird. Then why do written Hangul look so difficult? What triggers the madness? It lies in some properties of Korean syllable structure. Sometimes it mandates upcoming alphabets to be placed under the previous one. Alphabets stack in vertically rather than listing from left to right. I do admit it is weird and Korean syllable structure may seem difficult, but it's actually not that overwhelming if informed of its nature properly. Actually, there are only two types of structures, CV and CVC. Guess what C and V stand for respectively? Yes, for convenience, I will abbreviate consonant to C and vowel to V from now on the screen. This entire video is dedicated for addressing these two structures. I firmly believe that most of you are going to be able to write or type this list of alphabets from these, which we would write without the knowledge of what Korean syllable structure is. Then, what is a syllable? Well, to give you a brief summary, syllable is a unit of sound. Just think of it as a unit that is placed somewhere between a single alphabet and a word. It is a bridge linking them. As for the shape, think of it as a square box that contains alphabets and equalized size of chunks inside the box. So when writing Hangul, think that there is a square box and try to fit the building block alphabets into the box. Now let's begin with the first structure, CV. CV syllable literally refers to a syllable which consists of one consonant and one vowel. Practically speaking, when you are dealing with syllables with CV structure, just read and write from the consonant part and then the vowel part. Do you remember there were three vowel categories? Horizontal vowels, vertical vowels, and composite vowels. It means vowels have their own orientation and they are sorted accordingly. In other words, their orientation types decide the general layout of alphabets inside syllable box. I'm going to read you three simple exemplary syllables. Then you try to write or, to be frank, draw it. This is my guideline. First listen and identify each alphabet components that build up the syllable. Then draw a square large enough to fit identified alphabets in and then fill the box with all components nicely. So here goes an example. How would you write 개? What alphabets did you find? Did you identify G and E? Then how did you arrange them into the square box? Yes, it is best to put them side by side, and by doing so you can scale down each alphabet horizontally. Okay, second example. 포. Again, draw a square and try to fit a consonant and a vowel into the box. Did you recognize P and O? Then good. How did you arrange them into the box? This time it is not possible to fit the consonant and vowel side by side because the vowel is too wide horizontally. This time the correct answer is this. As I mentioned, vowels dictate how a CV layout should be. Well, final example. 화. This time we have H as a consonant and 와 as a vowel. It is pretty obvious where to put which one. CV should be arranged this way. In CV syllable, if a vertical vowel comes after a consonant, it comes to the right of the consonant, like English. But if a horizontal vowel comes after a consonant, it lies beneath the consonant. And if a composite vowel comes after a consonant, it occupies places for both vertical and horizontal vowel. For the purpose of wrapping up CV structure, I gave you a brief summary about general CV layout according to vowel orientation. But do not just memorize my summary. The only thing you need to know is the imaginary square. Keep the square in your mind and apply it every time you are to write Korean. Then you will naturally get it. Let's go back to the examples from previous video and build up the words in a correct way. This time applying syllable structure. Hope now you see why they are built up so. Now let's talk about Cbc syllable structure of Hangul. If we divide Cbc into two parts, we have CV and C. The CV part is exactly same as the CV syllable structure that we just dealt with. Then the only difference comes from the last C. This last C always comes below the CV. This spatial consonant has many names: tail consonant, ending consonant, final consonant, or in Korean, 받침. Cbc syllable structure is all about 받침. You will hear this word a lot for upcoming part of this video. Originally, 받침 is a term to indicate the location for a consonant below CV in terms of syllable structure rather than the consonant itself. But for convenience, many people call the consonant located at 받침 place as 받침 as well. I will also go for that. From now on, let's call a consonant placed in 받침 position also 받침 without distinction. Okay, now you're introduced with the new terminology. Then what about the counterpart? The initial C of CV. Let's call it head consonants. I'm referring to the normal consonants that is not 받침 in syllable. Now that we at least know what is 받침, try to read this. How did you read them? From the left, 바, 원, 꽃. Right? But some are right, some are wrong. The answer is 방, 원, 꽃. Oh my god, how come? Korean is so awful. Well, maybe, but just this one, I told you, is going to be a huge hurdle to overcome. Well, here's the reason. 받침s, which are just consonants that happen to be laid below another consonant and vowel, actually contain different sounds from the ones that we learned in consonant videos. In other words, the sounds you learned in that video are only for head consonant in terms of syllable structure. But it is not going to be a huge task of assigning and memorizing sound values for an entire table of every consonant again from the beginning, because 받침 sounds are only slightly different from head consonants, and I'm going to present several tips to link to what you already know. Let's begin with dividing the previous table into 4 chunks. There are in total 19 consonants in Hangul, but the consonant as 받침 has only 7 sounds. Let's begin with the reds. Long time no see, G family. The consonants of red bundle, G, K, double G, all converge to a core sound K. For example, 역, 부엌, 낚시, 역, 부엌, 낚시. The followings are sound values for the yellows. All the members of the yellow section, B, P, and double B, carry P sound when placed in 받침 position, which is a coarse sound. Listen to it yourself from the left. 밥, 컵, 늪. 밥, 컵, 늪. Each has different 받침, but they end with the same consonant sound, right? The next color is blue. What a huge group. All these consonants colored in blue end up carrying a single sound value when placed as 받침. Then which sound? They make the sound of the uppermost coarse sound, T. All of them. There are so many that I can't give you all the examples. Let me give you a few examples of these. 옷, 젖소, 꽃. 옷, 젖소, 꽃. Isn't it easy? We've come to see the greens now. The greens goes through no changes with respect to syllable position. In other words, they keep the head consonant sound even in case it is placed in 받침 position. So M as M and N as N. You must be careful, as I said in my lecture on consonants, L is hard to pronounce. It is marked L but not exactly L nor R. For these greens, I think this analogy will help you memorize. Not always but frequently, isn't it the case that the youngest siblings tend to keep their own characteristics and identity no matter what other family members desire them to follow? Think of it as such. Voiced ones are the youngest member in their family. It has the least number of lines in shape and it carries weakest sound among the family members. Therefore, they keep the original sounds even located in 받침 place. I know it is a bullshit, but it works. Shall we move on? We are almost there. Lastly, we have the circle. The circle has been special, right? In that it didn't carry any sound when used as head consonant. It maintains joker-like identity here in 받침 as well. It is a very important part of Korean consonant. Although it is silent when placed in head consonant, it carries an sound when placed as a 받침. For example, 공, 상, 공, 상. To sum up, Cbc syllable structure is CV syllable plus a 받침. 받침, a final consonant, comes below CV. When a consonant is used as a 받침, it makes slightly different sound than its original sound. All reds make K sound when used as 받침, and the yellows make P sound as 받침 sound. The green bundle consists of N, M, L, and the greens maintain their original sound as head consonants. The circle makes sound when used as 받침. Then all the rest belong to the blue bundle and the blues carry T sound as 받침. Now, theoretically, we know all sounds of Korean alphabets. Then, could you read these again now? Yes, they are 방, 원, 꽃. You get it now? You heard the word 받침 a ton of times today. Let's analyze why this sounds 받침. First of all, how many syllables do you see? 2. It is composed of 2 syllables. Then, let's focus on the first syllable. Is it CV or CBC syllable? Can you identify each alphabet engaging in forming this syllable? Good. This syllable is composed of B as a head consonant, A as a vowel, and D as a 받침, which makes it a CBC syllable. We can also say 바 is CV part and D is 받침. What is 받침 sound for D? D belongs to the blue bundle, so it makes T sound as a 받침. Next syllable. Do you identify CVC, CH, and E as CV and M for 받침? M belongs to the green bundle, so its 받침 sound is same as original sound. Now, it's just time for you to link all these syllables to make a word and further a sentence. So I think you can actually read this. Just slowly take a time and open up all those tables up on the screen and match. The answer is 안녕하세요. 저는 제시카예요. 저는 한국어를 정말 배우고 싶어요. 안녕하세요. 저는 제시카예요. 저는 한국어를 정말 배우고 싶어요. Plus, there are composite 받침s that are not covered this time. These are the consonants that look like this. A relief fact, there are only 11 composite 받침s. Practically speaking, there are only about 30 words spoken frequently in news. So my guide is just memorize these 30 words. Don't even bother thinking about composite 받침s and just proceed further on to more practical topics like grammar and daily expressions. Some things are meant to be learned naturally and gradually as you expose yourself longer to the target language. I'm going to focus on 30 words in KDD session. Today, we learned about the syllable structure of Hangul. The hardest part was CVC, which stems from the existence of 받침. It may be difficult to freely write down or read written Hangul in the initial phase of learning, but if you get the image of the alphabet tables with the colors in your head and continuously remind yourself of the imaginary square to yourself whenever you intend to write or type in Korean, it's going to be much easier to deeply get it. If you put some time and effort to read and type some syllables based on what we have learned so far and find yourself feeling confident as to reading, then the alphabet and reading is over. And from then on, there will be no Hangul that cannot be read by you. For those who managed to reach that stage, my congratulations in advance. You are now done with the most boring part of learning Korean. In the next video, we will talk about what will happen phonetically if we link many syllables together in order to build up a word. Thank you for watching, and this has been Seppi. See you next time. 다음에 봐요.